long does the state anticipate its closing argument being?
I would assume probably over an hour.
How about the defense?
Less than that.
The state officially rested its case Wednesday. A detective taking the stand talking about text messages sent from Lori to her brother Alex Cox just 2 days prior to Charles Vallow's killing.
On July 9th at 9:50 p.m., does Lori Vallow send her brother Alex Cox a message, getting sleepy, so I'm going to need you to stay close to me the next couple days. Mel too. She can't go to Utah. They are planking some kind of intervention, but want Mel out of the way, so I'm left alone. I need to come get the stuff at your house tomorrow and store it or secure it. Lots to do. Thank you for standing by me. It's all coming to a head this week. I will be like Nephi, I am told, and so will you.
All right, so are these text messages going to be enough to nail Lori Vallow Daybell? Let's bring in our legal eagles now. Attorneys John Phillips and Mario Gallucci on the show. Boy, oh boy, two heavy hitters here on this Thursday morning. All right, Lori Vallow, you know, we know this lady has been in a world of trouble. She's already got 3 convictions for murder, but is she going to have this 4th conviction? I don't know. I'm curious what you both have to say about it. Mario, I see the head tilt there, so I'm going to call on you first. Your thoughts, please.
So I thought she did a really good job yesterday on her cross-examination. I think she's getting much better at cross-examination. She was able to use leading questions. She backed that detective up against the wall when he didn't have the information he should have had as the lead detective. You know, they have to tie her into her brother, who actually committed the murder, who is now dead. So it's going to be very tough. It's a tough case for the prosecution here. And I thought, you know, in the beginning, I was a little nervous for her representing herself, but she did a pretty good job yesterday. I was watching her. She did a very nice job.
Right. Yeah, she's definitely not as bad as I thought she would be. I've been saying if she had gone to law school, she'd be you know, an average attorney, not a great attorney like you guys, but an average one. She could be your paralegal right now, I feel like, John and Mario. I have a clip for you both. And John, I'm going to come to you on the other side of this. This, I think, for a lot of people was really key, that the time that passed, as you know, the time from Charles being shot to the time that Alex actually places the 911 call, 45 minutes passed. Let's look.
So at 8:06, Alex Cox calls Lori a second time, and Charles Vallow has now been laying on the floor for at least dead for at least 17 minutes.
Correct.
Understanding that the 911 call isn't made till 8:36, Alex Cox waits another 30 minutes before he calls 911?
Yes.
Did Lori Vallow ever call 911?
No.
Neither of her calls, neither of her phones.
None.
Okay, John Phillips, what do you think about this evidence?
We're all used to Lori Daybell. We've seen her evolution as a human, as a lawyer. I'm not ready to hire her, by the way. No.
Okay.
I need a paralegal, but not Ms. Daybell.
You're going to pass on call, Mom. I don't blame you, John.
But we know too much. And so from the standpoint of the jury, you know, they've evolved just within this trial of stuff we've talked about previously, kind of how she struggled with some of the cross-examination and almost brought herself into it too much, to this now that she has figured it out, but is it too late? And so I don't know that her fate's going to be different. Certainly there's a lot more, as Mario said very well, you know, there's a lot more reasonable doubt in this case because of the nature of the facts. But oh goodness, it's more Lori Daybell.
Oh yeah, you're right. And we do feel like we know her so well. That's a great point, John. I know. Mario, going back to her doing the cross-examining, you were kind enough to give her some points here. I want to show another clip to you, and we'll talk on the other side. This is where she's crossing one of the detectives about who he spoke to after the event in question.
Adam, our estranged brother, is the only one that you got information from. Is that correct?
Can I object to the form of the question?
Sustained.
So is this your normal protocol to just talk to one witness and not all the others?
No.
Why didn't you speak to any other member of my family?
A lot of members of the family have been spoken to.
But you were not privy to any of that information as the case agent?
All right, Mario, tell me if you agree. That first question, I thought it was fine. I didn't think the judge should have sustained that objection to form of the question. It's cross. What do you think?
So I question was fine also, but the thing that was very telling here is at the beginning of the trial, that would throw her for a loop. When she was sustained, she was very not able to recover from that. As you just saw there, though, and through the whole cross yesterday, every time she was sustained, she was able to think, reformulate, and then ask a question. And this is really the first time we see her using leading questions. In the beginning of the trial, she would just ask these open-ended questions and leave it wide open for a witness to say whatever they wanted. Yesterday, she had them on the ropes for quite some time.
Mario, you're right. Very observant. You're right. She has improved in her, what do we call them, like fake lawyering skills? She's not a lawyer, but she's acting as her own lawyer. Yeah, you are right. John Phillips, tell me, something else I want to pick your brain about this morning is when the judge asked if Cult Mom intends to put on evidence today, she said her intention is no, to rest, and essentially the judge is really giving her till Monday to think about that. The judge said, okay, well, the charging conference, Thursday, Friday, court's always dark, and then Monday she'll have an opportunity. So she can go back on that decision and testify or call witnesses. What do you think, John? Is she getting smarter here? The fact that her first indication was no defense here.
She is. Trial work is tough. I've been around many a young associate that doesn't want to do cross-examination until last. They'll do everything else because you have to think on your feet so much. And closing argument is also ahead of her, and that's really tough. It's the first time you really get to address the jury. Opening is kind of generic, and voir dire is great, and you get to ask them questions, but closing's when you got to bring it home. And so I suspect she's going to spend most of Easter weekend working on closing. But, she ended strong. She ended well. In cross-examining a detective, there's always those points you can make. So she's watched a lot of court TV and read a lot of books to get ready.
Yeah, she does, John. She was mad. She didn't want us to film it. She doesn't like what she called the commercial, that talks about the murders that she and her husband did. Mario, when we think about what kind of defense she could put on, we know she's limited, right? Her brother, Alex, her good buddy, her protector, he's dead. We know that she killed two of the other potential witnesses, her kids, Tylee and JJ. She's kind of limited, really. It's just herself she could call. And she gave indications before to the judge that at a previous hearing prior to trial that she would want to testify. Tell me, do you think that right now, would you go so far as to say she's got a decent chance with the jury as opposed to if she would get up there and subject herself to that cross?
So I think she has a good chance right now, and I think if she testifies that she's opening herself up to cross-examination. The prosecutor in this case will destroy her, and that's going to send this whole thing, in a bad way. I think she made a smart move by saying that she's going to rest on Monday. It gives it a whole weekend. It's not unusual to have a day off before summations, to have a charge conference with the judge. And like it's been said, she has the whole weekend now to work on a summation. That's the most important part of the trial. It's your last opportunity to speak to a jury and bring it all home.
Right, Mario. Yeah, all she needs is one to potentially hang the jury. So we'll see. We'll see what she does. She's getting smarter, becoming better with those skills, as you noted. Mario Gallucci, thank you for making time for us this morning. I know we need to let you go get off to court. We appreciate it. John Phillips, every Thursday morning we got you. Stand by kindly, my friend. We're going to hit a break.